Hello, everyone. I'm Allison from Green Goddess, and welcome to this week's garden chat. I've poured myself a cup of tea, and I've got some seed catalogs, and I invite you to sit down with me with your own beverage, and we'll just have a chat of what's going on in the gardening world these days. A few people have commented to me about this recent uptick in the popularity of gardening. I mean, last year was phenomenal. No one had ever seen anything like it. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. And this year is shaping up to be no different. It's going to be just another banner year for gardens and gardening. I think it's a good thing. I think it's beneficial for a lot of people to return to that lifestyle, to return to the skill and the art that is gardening. Not everybody is going to be wanting to grow their own food for a full year, but that's okay. You don't have to. I think gardening in whatever form works for you is great. And whatever ability and capacity you have, I think gardening is a great way of reconnecting with the natural world, with the environment, with the earth itself. Gardening also forces us to slow down. We live in such a hurried and rushed culture where everything has to happen instantly. There's this idea and notion of instant gratification, and everyone is so stressed, and we're all suffering from illnesses that are caused from stress. And gardening forces us to slow down. Like there's no instant gratification when it comes to gardening. A garden has to be tended. If you're planting seeds, those seeds have to be tended. It's not just enough to put them in the ground. You have to tend them. You have to make sure they've got water, that they have enough sunlight, that there's enough nutrients available for them. That tomato plant just doesn't instantly, produce tomatoes. It's got to flower. And then the fruits have to form and develop and ripen, and so it's a process. It's a process. And so what gardening does is it teaches us to slow down, and it teaches us patience. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing for everybody, especially these days. So I welcome the interest in gardening. Now, with that uptick in interest, I noticed this year just the frenzy of seed buying that's going on right now. Like, it's just nuts. I think it's even more so than it was last year in terms of seed buying. Like, I noticed it started probably mid to late December. And some of the groups I was on there would be people who would be buying, like, they'd be placing orders, like, not just 2 or 3 times in a week, but 2 or 3 times in a day. And then other people would be getting mad at them, saying, well, there's not going to be seeds less for the rest of us, And so what happened, I think, is there's this frenzy. It's like the panic buying of 2021 is seeds. Like, last year we had the panic buying of toilet paper. This year it's the panic buying of seeds. And people are just getting caught up in that frenzy of seed buying. And this is like, oh my God. But you know what? Even I found myself getting caught up in that, and I kind of had to take a step back and say, wait, no, no. So to anyone who's brand new to gardening, or even to anyone who's an old school, who's been there gardening for years, you kind of have to take a step back and say, hey, let's think about this. So what I normally do when I am ordering my seeds is I will, if the website has like a wish list feature, what I do is I will spend a week or two, and I'll go through their online, or whether it's an online catalog or a print catalog or whatever. I'll sit down and I will add things to that wish list. I'll say, hey, that looks cool, or that looks cool, and I'll add it to the wish list. And then after about a week or so, I'll kind of go through that wish list, and I'll slowly start adding things to the shopping cart. and I'll whittle things down. Some things like, I'll decide, I don't need those that much, or that can wait, or I'll take my time with when I'm ordering my seeds, so that when I'm ordering the stuff that I actually want, but I'm also ordering, instead of placing several small orders, I'm placing one big one. So, and I think that that's what I do, and I think that's probably what a lot of people should do, rather than placing 3 orders in a single day. That seems a bit much, but that's just my opinion. Sorry if I offend anyone, but that's my opinion. The other thing I wanted to point out is that, like, some people are very loyal to a particular company, which is great. That's fine. I think that's awesome. But there are so many wonderful seed companies out there that you can order from, and it's okay. It's totally okay to order from more than one company. Like, I placed seed orders this year from 5 different companies already, like, simply because they all had things that I wanted. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. It's great if you've got a loyalty to a particular seed company. And I know there's one company that just was so inundated with orders that they shut down. They had to shut down their website twice because they just couldn't handle everything. And I think seed company loyalty is great, but at the same time, there are so many other options out there. Like a lot of them, the seed companies will carry very similar varieties of a lot of stuff. You'll find quite often the same ones listed, but they also carry different stuff, stuff that the others don't have. And so that's where I find, if I want to get this stuff for my garden that I want, that I'm interested in, I have to order from multiple seed companies. And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Like, I think the more we can spread the love to all of the more seed companies, the better. It's there's nothing wrong with doing that. So that's just my opinion. I think the seed frenzy is going to continue for a while yet. I think it's just getting underway. In terms of knowing what to order, an experienced gardener, will probably sit down and make out a plan and go through their seed boxes and figure out what they need and what they want. I will admit that I failed to take my own advice this year. I did not go through my seed boxes before ordering, and I know for a fact that I have way more cabbage seed on the way than what I need, because I had cabbage seed that I didn't realize that I had. But oh well. We are planning to do a market garden this year, so hopefully a lot of that seed will end up being used up with that. So maybe in the end it'll all work out. But in terms of trying to decide what you're wanting to order, especially if you're brand new to gardening, what my first suggestion would be to decide what you want. What's your goal for the garden? What do you want to get out of it? Maybe you just want to grow, maybe it's just flowers. Maybe you just want a nice place to have your morning tea or coffee. Or maybe you do want to grow a few vegetables. Figure out what it is that you want to get out of it. What's your goals? The next thing would be to, ask friends or family. Maybe you've got a relative somewhere who's into gardening, or friends, or a neighbor, or a coworker, or somebody. Ask them what they grow. What's their favorite things to grow in their garden. And most gardeners, by their very nature, are a generous bunch. So if asked nicely, I'm sure they would probably share some seeds with you from their own seed boxes. I don't know a garden who doesn't have a box of leftover seeds from previous years that, I'm sure they'd be willing to share. The other point that I wanted to make is, with this uptick in the interest in gardening, what I'm hoping does not happen is a rise in prices. And I don't want to see gardening become a sole thing for the rich, for the people who have money. I think everyone should have access to gardening if they want it, regardless of where they are in life or the financial status or whatever. Everyone should have that access to something like that. And that said, you don't have to order your seeds online. You can buy them from your local store, from your garden center, from Canadian Tire, or even the dollar store. There's absolutely nothing wrong with buying your seeds from the dollar store. And I will stand behind someone 100% if all they've got access to is dollar store seeds. You plant those seeds and you enjoy them, because there's nothing wrong with that. And don't let anyone try and shame you into saying, oh, those are dollar store seeds. That's crap. Dollar store seeds are just as viable and just as wonderful as any other place that you would buy seeds from. The only difference with online ordering is that you got maybe a broader variety of vegetables to choose from. That's the only main difference. Because I know it's like some people, you can't order online. You don't have access to the online ordering. You don't have a credit card. I don't have a credit card. So, I have to order from sites. I use PayPal. So, you know what? I've been there. I've done that. I know what it's like to be on a tight budget. So I'm hoping that gardening does not fall into that realm of for the rich only. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And because I think it's beneficial for everyone to get their hands in some soil, to get their sun in, their head in the sun and their hands in the soil, and hear the birds singing, and because there's just something so calming, so wonderfully calming about being out in the garden. You take a moment and you just stand there and observe the world around you, and it's so calming, and it's grounding, and it's centering, and I would love for everyone to be able to experience that. And I do believe, the more people that do return to gardening, I think the better off society will become, because we'll become better people. We become more patient with each other and with the world around us. And gardening is one of those, like I said, most gardeners are generous folks, and they are willing to share. And I think sharing helps everyone, right? Whether it's the extra seeds or produce from the garden, I think that's a benefit for everyone. So I think that's my garden talk for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back next week. Actually, I'm thinking on the weekend I might be doing a seed unboxing, because I think most of my seed orders have arrived, and I would love to share that with you. So until next time, have a great day.